Uh, Thank you for providing us the opportunity to present our product to you. We hope you find this information beneficial. We'll answer any questions that you have at the end of this presentation using the chat function.
On slide 2, we just wanted to sort of reinforce a couple of things we've learned in the past year, that not all cyber contracts are the same. A lot of them are very similar. Ours is very different. Some people are advising, or brokers are advising, to purchase the least expensive cyber coverage. Ours is very competitively priced, and you'll see provides a lot more of a benefit to the insured. As of July 2017, we're seeing a 50% sales success on quotations for our product. We get very positive results when the broker and the insured understand the benefits. We have 3 different types of sales that we see so far. We have an existing client with existing cyber coverage where it's determined that our cyber offering is more beneficial to the client and they buy from us. The second one is an existing client with no cyber coverage where we have been able to convert skeptics into believers by showing them what is available under our coverage. And also some of our brokers have been selling to new clients they've been able to penetrate because of our product. Again, we are available for broker and insured webinars or conference calls. These webinars and conference calls, especially with the insureds, work out very well.
We'd like to begin this presentation by providing a brief overview of the current cyber risk landscape. The healthcare industry is at the most risk of cyber attacks due to the fact that this industry sector is the only sector that will routinely have in its custody personal health information. We're looking at the types of confidential information that a cyber criminal can target. There's credit card information, which is fairly easy to replace. There are social security numbers, which are harder to replace but can be replaced. Then there is personal health information, which is an individual's healthcare history. This information can never be changed, and it's for that reason that a person's healthcare history can never be changed that these records command such a high value on the black market for cyber criminals. On this slide, we talk about the Ponemon Institute, which was founded in 2002 and is a leading center dedicated to privacy, data protection, and information security policy. Each year, the Ponemon Institute, in conjunction with IBM, releases a cost of a data breach study. The 2017 study results are presented on this slide. The average cost to a company for a data breach in 2017, not including regulatory fines and penalties, actually decreased from $4 million down to $3.62 million. The likelihood of a significant breach of over 10,000 records to occur at a company in the next 24 months is 25%, which is the same as last year. The average cost incurred for each lost or stolen record containing sensitive and confidential information is $141, which also decreased from last year's study. But when you drill down specific to the healthcare industry, the average cost per record jumps up to $380 per record, and this is actually an increase from last year's number of $355. On slide number 5, we're providing an additional example of the increasing cyber risk for the healthcare industry. This information comes directly from Experian's 2017 Data Breach Industry Forecast, which is specific to the healthcare industry. This information comes from their mid-year review. There have been 151 healthcare breaches, which have compromised more than 1.9 million records. This accounts for nearly 22% of all breaches that occurred in 2017. Ransomware has emerged as a top threat for healthcare organizations. Cyber criminals have expanded their range of targets within the sector, causing mega breaches to broaden their focus from insurers to other organizations, including hospital networks. Electronic health records and mobile applications are increasingly targeted. On slide number 6, we have an update on the 2017 direction of the OCR. Roger Severino was appointed the new Director of Health and Human Services, the Office of Civil Rights, early this year, and is now in charge of HIPAA regulations as a result. In one of his first speeches, Mr. Severino promised to keep HIPAA privacy and security enforcement as a top priority. There were 3 OCR corrective actions in April of 2017, followed by 2 in May, with an average cost of $1.1 million in settlement fines. At this pace, the OCR will eclipse its record-setting number of corrective actions levied in 2016. On slide 7, we are providing some additional detail on the OCR's actions. The Office of Civil Rights began the second phase of their HIPAA audits in July of 2016, starting with 200 desk audits. The OCR then announced they would be conducting on-site audits in 2017, in addition to focusing on smaller healthcare facilities and business associates. The OCR audits are random and are not the result of a security or privacy control failure or breach. Other carriers require a security controls failure or a breach to provide regulatory coverage, and as such, a governmental action following an OCR audit would not be covered. Our policy provides specific coverage for an allegation of noncompliance regardless of whether a privacy regulation breach occurred or not.
On page 8, we talk about there's 3 parts to our product. Part 1, an application is completed, reviewed, and quoted, accepted, and an initial policy is issued. Wanted to point out we can accept any carrier's application, and our initial policy, base policy, provides broad coverage wording. Part 2, a facilitated HIPAA risk assessment. This is conducted by Coalfire Systems, a leading international IT compliance firm. It's heavily discounted, and we heavily negotiated on our part. It's a good report, and the price of this report is included in our quotation. And then part 3, an enhancement endorsement is issued once the assessment is completed, providing enhancements that are not available from other carriers.
On slide 9, we want to briefly talk about some success stories of entities that have purchased our solution. We've been able to help a 90-doctor group, a health system with 1 hospital, 11 satellite clinics, including all employed doctors. That's one of the benefits of our program, is that we'll cover all the employed doctors in addition to a brick-and-mortar hospital or medical facility. We've also written a health system with 10 hospitals, including all employed doctors, and a health system with 1 hospital and 5 satellite clinics, also including all employed doctors. And we've recently bound over $100,000 in premium.
We've identified and addressed in our policy 4 cyber danger areas, and we haven't seen any other insurer that has done the same. The first danger area is a hacker or an employee. That's sort of a first-party coverage where somebody tries to attack you or just makes a mistake. The second danger area is the government. Other carriers will have some regulatory coverage, but not to the extent that we do. The third part is injured parties, which is third-party liability claims. And the fourth section is insurers.
The first cyber danger area are the hackers and potentially rogue employees. We want to highlight a specific area of growing concern regarding risks from a hacker, which are cyber extortion. The most prominent example of a cyber extortion event is currently being used by cyber criminals, which is ransomware. When a hacker or cyber criminal gains access to your system, is able to lock your computer system and prevent you from using your applications or accessing your data unless you pay a ransom. These events of cyber extortion and ransomware can also result in bodily injury of patients, which we'll discuss a little bit later in the presentation. The expenses you incur in this scenario include the cost of an investigation to determine how the incident occurred, hiring a crisis management expert to see if they can unlock your system, and if they are unable to do that, you'll incur the cost to pay a cyber criminal to unlock your system. Specific to healthcare entities, a ransomware or cyber extortion event will also need to be reported to regulators pursuant to HIPAA laws, and there could be additional fines and penalties as a result.
Slide 12, the second danger area we see is the government. And this is based on the regulatory Health and Human Services Office of Civil Rights HIPAA actions. There were 17,000 complaints per year. There have been 3,000 corrective actions per year since 2008. And 51 resolution agreements. It's important to understand that this is the end result of any action by the government. They come in and look, they conduct an audit, and then they'll put together a resolution agreement to be signed by themselves as the government and by the insured. This is where they levy fines and penalties. If you want to scare your insureds and get them to think more about cyber insurance, go on the HHS website and look at these resolution agreements and print a few out. It's pretty frightening. There's also continued monitoring that goes on, which is always difficult. To date, there have been over $73 million of fines and penalties levied. The average cost of a per resolution agreement is $1.4 million. And in every resolution agreement, somewhere in the resolution agreement, a wording which equates to a lack of a credible risk assessment has been mentioned as a deficiency.
On slide 13, we continue talking about the governmental risk. The HIPAA security rule requires companies to conduct a risk analysis as needed. However, every resolution agreement that has been issued has said that one of the reasons for the fines that were levied was that the entity did not conduct a risk analysis at least annually. Our cyber solution assists insureds with complying with this by including the coal-fire HIPAA risk assessment at each renewal at a significantly discounted price.
The third danger area, cyber danger area, is injured parties. Sorry. So this is the third-party liability claims. The third point is very strong to us in that we've spoken to a lot of different plaintiffs' attorneys, and they've said that if a client is fined or insured is fined by the Office of Civil Rights, they have a bigger problem of third-party liability claims because that can be used against them. These lawsuits are either class action lawsuits or individual lawsuits, and also can result in punitive damages to your insured. The fourth danger area is the insurers themselves. We've seen quite a few claims come through where insurance companies are looking at this. Once they realize that cyber is starting to hit them with claims, they've been doing post-claim underwriting. One of the ways they do that is to look at the application form and say, well, you told us you were going to be up to date with these systems, and you weren't, so we're not covering that claim. They're also in different wordings. You have to be very careful to look at the definition of a breach. It can be broad or very limited depending on the insurer.
On slide 16, we show the coverages that are provided in our base form, which the insured receives upon binding. Our base form itself is a state-of-the-art cyber insurance policy which provides all of, if not more coverage than what is readily available from most insurers. The insuring agreements in the base form protect the insured from the following, which are presented on this page. All of our coverages are provided at the full limit of the policy. We feel it's not in the benefit of the insured to have a policy with coverages sublimited. Generally, if another carrier is going to sublimit a coverage, those are going to be at a higher risk of occurring as opposed to lower risk of occurring. This is only a brief summary of the coverages provided in our base form. Following the successful completion of the HIPAA facilitated risk assessment, there's also expanded coverages that we provide by endorsement that are not readily available in the marketplace. A description of the HIPAA facilitated risk assessment is as follows. In conjunction with the issuance of the base cyber form and included in the purchase price, we also provide a HIPAA facilitated risk assessment that has been designed in conjunction with Coal-Fire Systems, who are an industry-leading compliance expert, and Lloyd's of London. The assessment is a proprietary, heavily discounted program that will assist with the insureds being HIPAA compliant. The process will include an IT official from the insured completing a HIPAA compliance assessment with the assistance of a Coal-Fire Systems IT consultant. The process should take a few hours and will be conducted through a web portal administered by Coal-Fire. Once all major compliance indicators have been identified, a passing grade will be issued, and a professional 24-page report will be generated by Coal-Fire. 100% of our insurers have received a passing grade after going through this process. The process is relatively unobtrusive, and the report generated will serve as a detailed risk assessment as required by HIPAA regulators. We have completed several of these assessments, and they have all been well received by our insureds. In addition to the report generated following the passing grade, we will immediately issue a HIPAA facilitated assessment completion endorsement at no extra cost. We get a question. So, how do we address some of the risks we have brought up? Our HIPAA facilitated assessment completion endorsement will provide 6 significant coverage enhancements, which address many of the risks we presented. The first enhancement expands the coverage for regulatory fines, penalties, and expenses for a wide array of healthcare risks, whether a breach occurred or not. All other forms in the marketplace are dependent upon a breach occurring. The way we have addressed this issue is that in this endorsement, the policy has been expanded to include allegations of noncompliance by a regulatory agency. This dovetails directly with a directive by the OCR that they will be conducting random audits. These audits are conducted directly by the OCR and will not be dependent upon a breach occurring, which is the standard in all other cyber policies. The second enhancement will amend the form so that coverage will not be able to be denied on the basis of a misrepresentation in the application regarding HIPAA compliance. There have been an increasing number of reports of major carriers denying coverage for cyber claims, with the basis of denial being that the insured misrepresented the level of their security controls on the application. This enhancement guarantees that all information that was confirmed in the HIPAA assessment cannot be used as a basis for denial of coverage. The third enhancement provided is specifically exclusive for hospitals and medical facilities that are ProAssurance professional liability policyholders. In the ProAssurance professional liability policy, there is a limited cyber endorsement providing a low limit of coverage. Generally, this limit in the endorsement is $100,000 for hospitals and $50,000 for medical facilities and doctors. Our cyber policy will attach directly above these limits. Our enhancement provides a difference in conditions coverage, wherein if our cyber policy provides a coverage that is not covered in the endorsement on the professional liability policy, the insured's retention for our coverage will be 50% of the limit of the endorsement, which will be equal to $50,000 retention for hospitals and a $25,000 retention for medical facilities, which will be a significant savings in the event of a claim. This enhancement allows our cyber policy to dovetail directly with any existing ProAssurance policy. In addition to this, we're able to quote any lower retention amount that an insured requires. The fourth enhancement will provide costs to restore, recollect, or replace health records, including expenses for materials, working time, and overhead costs at the affected locations associated with restoring or replacing health records. Many carriers will not cover the full cost of restoring or replacing health records. The fifth enhancement amends the policy to provide a renewal premium refund of 10% if the policyholder had no claims. And then the sixth enhancement is a major enhancement provided by our policy. This enhancement amends the policy to provide coverage for bodily injury that occurs due to a computer security breach or privacy breach to the extent that the insured is legally liable. The coverage starts out being sublimited to $50,000. However, we do have the ability to increase this limit. To our knowledge, this coverage is currently unavailable on all other cyber policies in the marketplace. We'd like to take a moment on this slide to further discuss the last enhancement, which is explicit coverage for bodily injury as a result of a cybersecurity breach. One of the big questions we always get is, how can a cybersecurity breach result in bodily injury? The answer to this deals with the growing threat of the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is the fact that nearly all electronic devices are somewhat connected to the Internet, and as a result are just as susceptible to a security breach as a laptop or a smartphone. Cybersecurity experts, along with the FBI, have found that defibrillator devices and implantable pacemakers, amongst other electronic medical devices, can be easily exploited by hackers and cybercriminals. Several reports have come out stating that, in general, the cybersecurity in a medical device is similar to that of a personal computer around the turn of the millennium, which is to say that it's not very effective in preventing access by an unwanted third party. Not only do most other cyber insurance policies exclude this risk in its entirety, but also most medical malpractice and general liability policies will also exclude losses attributable to a cybersecurity breach. On slide 22, we want to quickly highlight that we have some new enhancements for our base policy. The biggest one of these is that we can now provide pay on behalf of wording. Traditionally, most cyber policies are set for reimbursement of expenses and provide the insured with the ability to select their own third parties to handle the various breach response tasks. For some risk managers, this option is preferable so that they can oversee how the various functions are handled. However, if the insured desires, the insurer will select their own third-party service providers and pay them on behalf of the insured, which will result in no out-of-pocket cost to the insured. Our product also includes a 24/7 data breach hotline and cyber terrorism coverage built in automatically. Lastly, on this slide, our policy also provides full coverage for data held at third-party locations, including cloud service providers. What that means is that if there's a breach at a cloud service provider and they're holding your data, you'll be covered to the full extent of the policy. On slide 23, we continue to highlight some additional recent enhancements. Cyber extortion monies covered under the policy now definitively include Bitcoin to assist with ransomware exposure. Full prior acts are now covered at inception, and we now provide social engineering fraud coverage, which covers a fraudulent funds transfer due to a misleading or electronic or telephonic communication which was believed to be genuine.
From the point of view of a regulatory or third-party lawsuit, especially regulatory, we want to put our insureds in a position where they are more protected against the government. We think that if brought in front of a judge or the board of directors or the government and asked, well, what'd you do to protect your information? Our insurers will be able to say, we purchased a cyber insurance policy from Lloyd's of London, one of the largest financial markets in the world, which included a comprehensive risk assessment conducted by a market-leading IT consulting and compliance contractor. Upon completion of this assessment, we received an endorsement from Lloyd's of London providing substantial enhancements of coverage. We think that puts our insurers in a very strong position as far as regulatory and third-party lawsuits.
On slides 25 through 28, we provide some claim scenarios for coverages provided by both our base policy and our enhancement endorsement. These are actual events that have occurred and demonstrate how the different insuring agreements respond when there is a covered event. On slide 25, we provide an example of how our regulatory coverage comes into play. On slide 26 through 28, we show how each enhancement provided by our HIPAA assessment endorsement responds to specific events. And we will send these out following the presentation so that you can have more time to look through them.
Just to recap, we have found very positive results for selling and marketing our product when the broker and the insured understand the benefits. Again, our solution can assist in existing clients with existing cyber coverage, with existing clients with no cyber coverage, or to penetrate new clients. Also, our staff is available at any time for questions, advice, or webinars or conference calls with brokers or insureds.
Thank you for attending this webinar. At this time, if there are any questions, you can use your chat function to type them in. Alternatively, you can reach out to myself. Either you can give us a call or send me an email, or you can reach out to Tony Angelo, who's the National Sales Executive at ProAssurance, who's assisting us with our product. You can send us emails, if you have any questions, or if there's anything you'd like to have explained a little more further. Yeah, I guess at this time there are no additional questions. So we thank you all for attending, and we're available if anyone has any questions at all. Thank you very much.